You're listening to Simply the Best Sports Take, the best podcast breaking down the best stuff in sports with host Sean Bingham. His takes are so good, he dropped the mic, but then you wouldn't be able to hear him, and that would suck.
Welcome into STB Sports Take, Simply the Best Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Bingham. We are on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor Podcasts. Everywhere you get your podcasts, we are there. Please hit that subscribe button, whatever platform you are on. I know I say that all the time, but you got to do it. You got to use your finger and you got to click subscribe. Thank you for listening, regardless. Guys, we've had another great sports weekend. It's Halloween weekend. Happy Halloween to everybody. I need to make that first and foremost. Today is actual Halloween. So happy Halloween. And what a weekend. BYU loses again. I'm not even going to talk about it because I just don't care that much, and everybody else does, in the state of Utah anyway. And I love college football. I love sports, but I love the NFL way more. And once someone becomes irrelevant, which BYU is, it's time to just move on and talk about more exciting things. So that's what I'm going to do. But BYU loses again at home to Eastern Carolina. Not a good look. Not a good look. Something's got to change there with the Cougars. The season went from like really, really high hopes, good stuff, all the way down to the dumps, losing 4 straight. Not looking good. Losing to teams like Liberty and Eastern Carolina. It's a bad look for the Cougars, so something's got to change. Speaking of bad looks for the Cougars, right now I'm looking at the front page or homepage of ESPN.com. Zach Wilson's on the front page, the homepage of ESPN.com with the title of the article, "Let's Sound the Alarm on the NFL's Sophomore Quarterbacks." And it says that they've all been a major disappointment with few signs that they'll turn things around. So, and he's like the face of the disappointment article. So that's a bummer too. But what I want to talk about today the most is I want to do my midseason report. I'm in a fantasy league. We got our midseason report yesterday actually, which by the way, I'm winning my matchup this week. I'm really turning things around fantasy-wise. It's been really nice. But I need to do a midseason report on the NFL itself and on my predictions and how I'm doing. So here are my NFC predictions before the season started. Before the season started, I said that the NFC East would be won by the Cowboys. The NFC North would be won by the Packers. That one's going to be wrong. The NFC South, I said, would be won by the Bucks. And guess what? That is a very weak division that probably will still be won by the Bucks. That's the worst division in football. The NFC, which Tom Brady has a knack for figuring that out, doesn't he? He did that for years in New England. That was just a weak division, and I think he realized this is kind of nice to have like 6 games a year where it's like very high probability that we win, and even higher probability that we at least finish with a better record than these guys, and so therefore we win the division and make the playoffs. Doing the same thing in the NFC South now with the Buccaneers. The NFC West, I said would be won by the Rams. This one I got definitely wrong. I said Rams, Cardinals, 49ers, Seahawks. I think I'll be correct on the Seahawks finishing last, even though that's not currently the case. But let's go through them division by division, and kind of give each team a grade so far, see where we're at, see how my predictions are stacking up. So again, with the NFC, I got to scroll down because it's on the AFC right here. There we go. So with the NFC, the Eagles are the only team in football that are undefeated. The Philadelphia Eagles, nobody else is undefeated. They're 7-0. I think they're going to make the Super Bowl. At this point, like I don't see how anybody. The NFC is just kind of weak. Like the Vikings are 6-1, but is anybody actually scared of Kirk Cousins and the Vikings? I don't think so. The Falcons are leading. That's hilarious. The Falcons at 4-4 are in first place in the NFC South. Nobody's scared of them or the Saints or the Panthers. Maybe the Buccaneers if they get it going. You can never count Tom Brady out. The Seahawks are in first place at 5-3 in the NFC West. Yeah, that's not going to stick. 49ers and Rams will eventually pass them. That's a weird division. The NFC West is so good. The Cardinals on paper are really good. The Rams are defending champs. The 49ers are supposed to be like Super Bowl dark horses, but yet they all have losing records or are barely 500 with the 49ers. But I think you'll see that all flip. I think the Seahawks will eventually finish in last place in that division. There's only 2-game difference from first to last, so it's not a whole lot to make up. And then, yeah, like I say, the Vikings, nobody's scared of them. But the Packers are 3-5. I don't know. Maybe they get like an Odell Beckham Jr., get somebody better for Aaron Rodgers to throw the ball to. That could make a difference. And then the NFC East, my beloved NFC East, you guys. Toughest division in football. The Commanders get a fantastic win yesterday. I was so stoked about that. Taylor Heinicke, I mean, the guy, I talked about this last week. He's just in that tough spot where he's very obviously not a top 15 quarterback. Probably not even top 20, but he is top 32. So he's in like that group of 12 down at the bottom of the starters where they're looking to replace him. How can I replace this guy? Got to replace this guy immediately. And so all these other guys keep getting chances, and he keeps not getting a chance because he's just clearly not a top 20 guy. Maybe he could become that. I kind of doubt it. Scouts clearly seem to doubt it. Coaches clearly seem to doubt it. But the guy's winning. Commanders have won 3 in a row now. They're 4-4. So what was the NFC least is now the NFC beast. 4-4 in last place. Giants 6-2. Cowboys 6-2. Eagles 7-0. It's best division in football. It's not even close. No other division even has 2 teams with a winning record in the NFC unless you count 5-3 Seattle and 4-4 San Francisco. NFC East has all 4 teams. NFC North only has 1 team, and NFC South basically has 0. They have 1 with the Falcons at 500. Okay, on to the AFC. Well, actually, let me I just recap what's going on there. But let's say, so here's what I predicted. I predicted it would go Cowboys, Commanders, Eagles, Giants. I think that's obviously going to be wrong. I let my Commanders bias creep in. Commanders will not finish second. They will probably finish third. I think they can edge out the Giants, but Daboll's doing a fantastic job in New York. It's actually very remarkable what the Giants have done. It shows how important coaching is and culture and leadership from the top down. When you get the right coach in there, the right leader to come in and shift the culture, shift the mentality, come up with better game plans, better practices, better preparation, it makes a huge difference. The Giants went from like a laughingstock to 6-2. I think they're not as good as their record shows still, but they're clearly much, much, much improved from seasons past. So I'd love to see that happen with the Commanders. You know, maybe it's a quarterback thing, maybe it's a coaching thing. It's definitely an ownership thing. We all know that. But Commanders will probably finish in last or second to last. Cowboys and Eagles will be fighting for that top spot. Obviously, right now the Eagles have a huge edge. And I think they'll hold on to it, and I think they're dark horses to make the Super Bowl. So I got that one a little bit mixed up, not too horrible, but a little bit mixed up. NFC North, I said the Packers would win. Then I picked the Bears and then the Vikings. I don't know why I did that. That was actually really stupid of me. And I did say in a follow-up tweet, I put if I were to make any changes to this, it would be that I would put the Dolphins over the Patriots, which we'll get to that in a second, in second place in the AFC East, and then the Vikings over the Bears for second in the NFC North. So I definitely stand by that. The Vikings are going to win that division. The Packers maybe could make some sort of comeback again if they get a better receiving core for Aaron Rodgers, but I think that window's closed. So I think you'll see a flip-flop at the top. I think you'll see the Vikings finish first, then the Packers, then the Bears, then the Lions. So I wasn't too far off on that one. The NFC South, I said Falcons, Bucks, Saints, I said Bucks, Panthers, Saints, Falcons. And I think that'll stand true. You probably will see the Saints. I don't know. That one's so bad. It's so bad. But it'll be interesting to see what Tom Brady and the Buccaneers can do because they're underachieving big time. I don't think I'd change much on that one, actually. I don't think I'd change much. Maybe you give the Saints the edge over the Panthers and they finish second. But we'll see on that. And then the NFC West, we talked about that one already. Okay, so moving on to the AFC. I had the Bills winning the AFC East, and then I put the Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. And I already said I would flip-flop the Patriots and the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins will finish second. They're looking good. Tua had that ugly concussion, very scary concussion, and he's had 2 really good games. Yesterday, he played phenomenal. He actually has the highest passer rating in the entire NFL. So Tua looking really good. And those receivers, Waddle and Tyreek Hill, those are a deadly, deadly duo. My buddy Jimmy has both those guys on his fantasy team, and I have Tua. And it seems like every other week they're getting like a combined 60 points between the two of them, the 2 receivers. So the Dolphins are the real deal. I don't know how much damage they'll do come playoff time. The Bills and the Chiefs are clearly the class of the AFC. And the Dolphins, despite having a winning record, have actually been outscored by 14 so far this year. And I like to look at point differential. It kind of tells a bigger story sometimes, like how much are you beating opponents by? Because I think as the season goes, it starts to even out. Like if you have these high highs and low lows, it starts to show itself, and you can get losses in playoffs pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens there. The Patriots on the flip side, 4-4, they have a plus minus of plus 14 point differential on the season. So something to keep an eye on there. The Jets are overachieving at 5-3. Ironically, the Jets are 4-0 on the road. The New York Jets are 4-0 on the road. I don't think Zach Wilson's been that bad. He's been more of a game manager, but it's only his second season, and he's leading his team to wins. The coach is playing around his strengths. Like, I think what the Jets are doing is actually really good, even though ESPN's clowning him right now. And right now I'm looking at another thing. Dan Orlovsky to Zach Wilson. It's time to grow up. I don't know. That's kind of weird. I'm not a Zach Wilson hater. I'm also not like the biggest fan. I'm just kind of neutral. I don't care either way. But I don't think he necessarily represents BYU and stuff like that where I went to school the best. But he's a good player. I do think he got overrated going into that draft from his crazy like off balance throws and stuff like that. But he's doing pretty good. I like what the Jets are doing. They've got young talent around him. They've got a really, really talented young roster, and they've got a great coach. They're building a great culture. Both teams in New York are rebuilding quite nicely right now, the Jets and the Giants. Combined winning records, both of them with winning records. When was the last time that happened? So I don't hate what the Jets are doing. I do think you'll see the Dolphins finish ahead of them, and I wouldn't be surprised if you also see the Patriots finish ahead of them, which would put them in last place in the division. But this division is really, really talented. Again, they're like the NFC East. So both the AFC and NFC East are the divisions in football, the only divisions in football with winning records from top to bottom. But the Bills are the class of this one, and there's no question they'll win that division. So I would say it's going to go Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets, and so I'll be pretty much spot on from what I predicted early in the year. The AFC North. This one's interesting because you've got Deshaun Watson coming back here, and I think he's got 4 more games. They've played 7 games. He's got to miss 11. So he'll be back for their final 6 games. And right now they're 2-5. Maybe they can, 4 more games. Maybe they could go 2-2, and they end up being 4-7 going into that. And then you see if he could make a run, a 6-0 run, a 5-1 run. Maybe they sneak into the playoffs. Highly unlikely, I would say, though. And so I think you'll see the Browns, which, by the way, I predicted them to finish dead last in the division, mainly because of that. And I think that'll be right. Probably not, though. I think you'll see the Steelers finish last. I had said it would be Bengals, Ravens, Steelers, Browns. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan, big Jamar Chase fan. They play tonight. Jamar Chase is out, though. I'm also a big Lamar Jackson fan. So this is a really good division at the top, the Ravens and Bengals. I think they're both right there as kind of Super Bowl dark horses. Like if something crazy happened with the Chiefs or the Bills, those would be kind of the next teams in line. Again, highly unlikely that the Chiefs or Bills don't make the Super Bowl. I'd be shocked if it wasn't one of those two. But if something happened, you'd see the Bengals or the Ravens be that other team. So Ravens are currently in first place, then the Bengals, then the Browns, then the Steelers. I think the Bengals get a win tonight, which would put them right there tied at 5-3 with the Ravens. But I do think you'll see it finish the way I said, with a flip-flop at the bottom, Steelers finishing last, Browns finishing second to last, because Deshaun Watson will come back, probably have a winning record over those final 6 games, whereas the Steelers will continue to lose the majority of their games through the final 6. Okay, AFC South. This one I predicted Titans, Colts, Jags, Texans. And I'm going to stick with that. That's what it currently is, and I don't think that'll change. It is Titans, Colts, Jags, Texans. Titans are pretty good. They're pretty good. Derrick Henry's a beast. I almost want to see him get off that team and onto a real contender, because his career, he's too good of a player to not at some point win a Super Bowl. And the shelf life on guys like him who get 30 touches a game it's a small window that he has, and I don't want to see him be stuck in Tennessee not winning forever. they've been really good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they've been to AFC Championship games. They've made playoff runs. They've made many playoff appearances. But I just don't see them being as good as their 5-2 record. In fact, their point differential on the season is a -6. So despite having a 5-2 record, they've been outscored by 6 points on the season total. They have won 5 straight, though, so maybe they've got things figured out. I just still see them, despite their record being what it is, I still see them as like the 6th best team in the AFC, behind Bills, Chiefs, Bengals, Ravens. For sure, those 4. So maybe Titans 5th, actually. Dolphins would be right there. It's Titans or Dolphins after that. Chargers are underachieving, but anyway, okay. Moving on to AFC West. So Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders is what I predicted, and I think I'm going to stick with that. Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. I'm very proud of myself on the Broncos pick. So many people were like, oh, Russell Wilson, the Broncos are going to be so good. They'll be first place. And I'm like, nah, third in their own division. Not going to make the playoffs. It's actually disgusting what's happening. They did get a win this week. I woke up early and watched it yesterday. They played Jacksonville in London and barely get a win. Kind of a last second. It was a good touchdown there, game-winning drive. But yeah, it's pretty pathetic what you're seeing with Russell Wilson. I hope he can turn it around, but they'll finish third in that division, and the Chiefs will be the class of the AFC along with the Bills. So looking at the point differentials, this is always interesting, you guys. So the Bills have the best point differential in the league with a +105. They have outscored their opponents by 105 points on the season. 105. That's pretty remarkable. Second place is the Eagles at +78. Then it is the Chiefs at +51. Then the Bengals actually then the Cowboys at +50. Then the Bengals at +41. This tells a story. This does tell a story. Ravens +25. I think that puts them. Nope. The Vikings at +29. Then the Ravens at Nope. Then the Niners at +29. See, there's a story too. Niners are only 4-4, but they're at +29. Yeah, other teams like the Packers -28. It's interesting, right? Like the Commanders 4-4. This is tough pill to swallow. Commanders 4-4, but they're a -30. -30, despite having a even record 4-4. So that's the midseason report. The teams to beat. Here's my Super Bowl predictions. You're going to see in the AFC Championship game, this is easy. Everybody thinks this. Bills, Chiefs. And I'm going to say the Bills win. I think this is the Bills season. They shored up that defense even better. They've got the number 1 defense, scoring defense, and the number 1 yardage defense in the league. I think they have the second best quarterback in the league, behind Patrick Mahomes, who I do think is the best. But Josh Allen is a phenomenal player. They've got arguably the best receiver. There's a lot of argument to be had there. But Stephon Diggs is a fantastic player. They've got the highest scoring team in the NFL. Actually, do they or do the Chiefs? Let's see here. Because you got to go off points per game. The Chiefs, where's the Chiefs at? So Bills have scored 203 points in 7 games. Chiefs have scored 223. So the Chiefs actually have the highest scoring offense. But the Bills have not even allowed 100 points yet. They're the only team in the NFL to not have 100 points scored against them yet. They've only allowed 98. So to me, it'll be Bills, Chiefs, and the Bills will win. And in the NFC, this one's so tough because nobody is standing out. That's why I think you're going to see Eagles. Eagles will reach the NFC Championship game. And I'm going to say they're going to play. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I bet they end up playing the 49ers. I think you're going to see. I think the 49ers are going to keep figuring it out. They're going to keep getting better. This Christian McCaffrey addition is a huge deal. I think that's going to. I mean, he played so freaking good yesterday. He had a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown. He's just doing it all. Obviously, we know he can catch the ball out of the backfield. So I think that's going to be a huge addition. I think you'll see 49ers and Eagles in the NFC Championship game. And I think you'll see the Eagles go to the Super Bowl, and I think you'll see the Bills beat the Eagles probably pretty handily. I bet it's like one of those lopsided Super Bowls, Bills over Eagles. That's my prediction. Okay. Other news, Russell Westbrook coming off the bench finally and looking pretty good. The Lakers got their first win. But isn't it interesting? I said this, I think this was also last week's podcast. Huge changing of the guard going on right now. Aaron Rodgers no good. Tom Brady no good. Their teams anyway. LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Kawhi Leonard. All their teams no good. Even the Warriors don't look very good. Losing record right now. Huge changing of the guard going on in both the NBA and the NFL. And I'm here for it. Those are living legends. It's been fantastic to watch their careers. We'll get to see the tail end of their careers. They'll still have glimpses of greatness both as a team and individually. But there's clearly a changing of the guard happening. It is now Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes. It's their time. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. It's their time. It's no longer Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers' time. And it's now younger players in the NBA. I mean, some guys have already taken over, like Giannis, Luka. But it's those guys' time now. Ja Morant. Donovan Mitchell, by the way, looking really good for the Cleveland Cavaliers as Jazz fans. That's kind of rough. But it's a huge changing of the guard. LeBron James will not get back to an NBA championship, NBA Finals. I don't think Kevin Durant even will, which is weird. Like, really weird how bad the Nets are, in my opinion. Kawhi Leonard is kind of a joke. The guy just doesn't play. I get, wanting to, like, preserve your career, but it's like if you just keep not playing, your career just passes you by because you're still getting older. So I'd be disappointed in him if I was Clippers ownership. But it's just a new NBA. It's a new NFL, and I'm excited about it. World Series also going on 1-1. Game 3 is tonight in Philly. I'm rooting for the Philadelphia Phillies, even though there's that whole thing about how every time the Phillies win, we go into like a recession or a depression, which ironically has happened. And it's like we're on the brink of it right now. It's kind of already happening. That's kind of interesting little stat, but I'm still rooting for him because I'm not really a superstitious guy. But anyway, guys, that's all the time I have for today. This is the Midseason Report. Sorry if it was a little scattered. Kind of threw this one together quickly. Got some work to do, but subscribe. We'll keep getting better. Love you guys. Talk to you next time. I am out. Peace.
Thanks for hanging with Simply the Best Sports Take. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast and check out STBSportsTake.com. Simply the best in sports.
'Cause we are warriors.